Off the back. Shout out to the one person that's been waiting on YouTube. Comment, comment in the thing below. Who are you? That's crazy. I can see all my fucking Pokemon cards. You see, that's like all Pokemon cards. If you can see on YouTube, if you guys are on YouTube, you can see like all my Pokemon cards in the back. I advise everybody to go on YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're live on YouTube, make sure you give the video a like. And we're gonna get into today's podcast. I think today's podcast is, let's start recording on the actual podcast. 3, 2, 1. I think today this is podcast 222. You already know the deals. Run up the likes in the comments, guys, so we get started on the show. I'm gonna face this way because both of the cameras are this way. I mean, the podcast camera's this way, but you guys listen to the audio more than anything. But so podcast 222, and today we're gonna be talking about stop allowing yourself to be manipulated into a relationship. You know, I had saw a funny video on this, but it's definitely true. And if you've talked to your fair share of women, you understand that this shit happens a lot. I remember from the jump, off the back, uh, and my first, not my first, I would say about 5 years ago, whatever ex that was, about 5 years ago. That relationship I was definitely manipulated into because one, I was single, we were talking, she understood that I was talking to other females too, and I just remember we were talking for a few months. I've never been quick to jump into relationships. I remember I had a high school girlfriend, and I didn't make her my girlfriend for like almost fucking 7 months, literally almost 7 months, and maybe 6, and then I made her my girlfriend. But that's a very long time in high school. But I was just really just out here doing my thing. But anyway, so my relationship about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we were at dinner, and remember it was Thanksgiving, and I was at her house, and it was with her grandmother, and it was also with her grandmother, her sister's boyfriend, and her mother. And her grandmother had asked because I mean, normally if you bring somebody to dinner, you would assume that that's your boyfriend. So she asked, "Oh," her grandmother asked, "So how long you guys been in a relationship?" And she said, "Oh, 7 months." "Oh man, y'all been boyfriend and girlfriend for 7 months. Y'all getting close to a year. You can make it." First of all, I didn't say nothing. I just went along with it because, how awkward would it be if you're like, yeah, we've been in a relationship for 7 months and this girl's not even really my girlfriend. I never asked you formally to be my girlfriend. And it's in front of her mom and her sister's there with her actual boyfriend. So I didn't want to make things awkward. So I was just like, all right, yeah, 7 months. And I'm just looking at this bitch like, why the fuck do you say that? But I actually did like the girl, so it was okay. But it was just like, no, bro. And a lot of the times, a lot of guys, you get tricked into this because a lot of times guys will try to be straight up. They'll try to make it clear, and you have to make things very clear from the beginning. Like especially if you're talking to a girl and you see a girl starting to get territorial. A lot of girls get territorial. A lot of girls want to get very serious really fast, especially if you got your shit together or if you got like a good thing going on, right? But girls, I'm gonna explain to you guys, and it's gonna make sense how guys are getting tricked into relationships. And obviously it's not all guys, but guys that have some type of value or guys that's obviously doing something right, whether that's having money or just having the shit together or putting it down in bed, either or. Guys are getting tricked into relationships. And I'm gonna tell you how. But first things first, you have to make things abundantly clear from the jump. Like if you're talking to a girl and you don't necessarily want to be in a relationship at that moment in time, you have to make that very clear. And I think that's one of the big mistakes guys do. Guys, they try to like jump and shift and try to have game, and they're not telling girls their real intentions. So got a lot of guys fucked up on that. And I gotta call some guys out for that. You have to be true. You have to be real. And always keep it real because a lot of the times you'll be surprised how that works in your favor sometimes. And a lot of guys lie, and now because you lied and you really don't want to be in a relationship, now she feels entitled to call you up types of dogs and all types of uh whores, man whores, whatever she wants to call you because you weren't true about your intentions. But you have to be true about your intentions. But let's get into how women are tricking men into relationships. It's silly, but it's so true. It's so true. So first of all, how it usually happens is what I see personally, a lot of guys are either talking to a girl or they having this conversation from the jump. And how it goes is like, all right, well, I don't really want to do this because I'm single and I want to stay single. That's one. Two, are they're in a relationship or he wants to break up or doing this and that and the third. But this is the thing. A lot of girls will tell you, "Oh no, I'm fine with being exclusive. I'm fine with being exclusive, but all I ask is, sometimes text me here and there, or what they'll do is, at least take me out sometime, like hang out with me sometime. So this way I don't feel like I'm being used for sex." No, I don't want to text you all the time. That's the point. If I'm single, right? If I'm single and I'm telling you I'm single and we're having this conversation face to face and I say, well, I just want to be single and, I'm dating other people and I don't want to be necessarily exclusive. And you're like, yeah, I'm okay with that, but just text me sometimes so I don't feel like I'm being used or I don't feel like, I'm being, just used for well, bitch, that's the point. If I don't want to be in an exclusive relationship, you can't then start to give me rules and tell me when or how to text you. Me personally, this is always my go-to line, and I always say this, even when I'm joking or serious. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. It's that simple. Now you can take that personally. You don't have to take it. Most people don't normally take it personally, but don't tell me what to do. Just simple, right? But most guys shy away from this because a guy that's doesn't have this level of awareness, and this can happen from a guy that's 19 to fucking 40, right? Because that sounds reasonable. It does sound reasonable. Oh, at least send me a text here and there. At least check on me sometime. At least every once in a while, like take me out or come over and we can like cuddle and watch. No, if I don't want to be in a relationship and I tell you that, then that means you know no, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Now, it does sound reasonable. So some guys be like, yeah, sure, I'll text you. Oh, you want me to come over once in a while? Sure. Ain't no problem. That's not a big deal. That's no biggie. I can shoot you a text every once in a while. That's not a big deal. But little do you know you're being manipulated into a relationship because these are guidelines. These are guidelines for a relationship. Because when you're in a relationship, you have basically obligations on this person. You're choosing to be mutually exclusive. So now that you're choosing to be mutually exclusive, you have to talk to the person, right? You're not going to not talk to a person that you're in a relationship with, right? Two, you're not going to not text them. You're not going to not go out with them. You're not going to not do things. And this is, and that, guys, don't get the twisted. I'm not saying this is applying to me, and this is not my current situation at all, right? I'm just saying these are the the subtle manipulation tactics that guys go for, and because it sounds so reasonable, right? Because it sounds so reasonable, a lot of guys will go for it. And other things like, oh, whenever I'm moving stuff around or if I move to a new location, if I need some help around the house, you know, I think you should come help me because, if we're doing this, I think the least you can do is at least help me with things around the house. And to be fair, that's not a crazy thing to ask when you think about it. It's really not a crazy thing to ask. But the problem comes what now you have stipulations, you have rules and stipulations and conditions that is put on this arrangement or whatever arrangement that you guys have, right? And it sounds so reasonable at first that you know when you do these things it's like, all right, cool, cool, cool. You know what, that's not that bad. Yeah, I don't mind helping you. Yeah, I guess while I'm there, I could knock it down, we could have some fun. You know what I'm saying? And then and I'm laughing because I've been through this situation so many times. And then while you're there, she start cooking for you. Oh damn, she could cook. Damn, this food is good. What's this, girl? But you gotta be careful though. Don't eat any red pasta. I've heard about that. My mom has told me about that. Don't eat any red pasta from women because if you know about red pasta, you know what they be doing and putting in the red pasta. Don't do it. I'm not. I've never had any. I don't think I've ever had any spells put on me because I just know me. But the point is, now you go over this girl's house and y'all eating good food and the food is good and the food might be great and it might be genuinely a good time. It might genuinely be a good time. But then next thing you know, you're in this situation where, okay, well, you know what? The food's good. I might as well just stay here. You know what I'm saying? Oh, where you going? And then the little manipulation comes. It's like, here, don't go anywhere. And then she put the moves on you. Next thing you know, you done fell asleep. You're supposed to go out with your boys. Or you're supposed to meet up with your other date, doing things that single men do, right? And next thing you know, now you're stuck at the house, and you're like, fuck. But then it becomes a routine. And then it becomes a routine, and now you're in this situation where it's like, damn, I'm always over here. She's always cooking for me. This shit is always happening. This shit is always happening. And next thing you know, boom. Now things are official. But it usually doesn't happen that fast. Usually sometimes you violate something, or you don't answer a text, you don't answer a call, and then this notion of you being like a bad person, or you being a cheater, or you being something like that. But when you never actually told this person that we're in a relationship, and you actually told them, and then you agree to these stipulations. Oh, just text me sometime. Oh, just come over. You got to come help me with things sometime, because and then this is the biggest one. This is the absolute biggest one that you have to watch out for, because this is the biggest manipulation. Oh, you tell somebody, I want to be single and I want to date, but I still want to be single and do my own thing. But then she says, okay, that's cool. But if you do, just make sure that you know, you don't have sex with anybody else. Or they hit you with the, if you do have sex with somebody else, make sure you tell me. Guys, if you're on TikTok, make sure you guys double tap the screen, because we need to at least be, I've been on here for a minute. You guys, let's get to at least like 1,000 likes. Come on. Oh shit. First milestone. Come on. 1,000 likes. Anyway, but yeah, this is the biggest one. And it comes with, oh, if you do sleep with somebody else, tell me. If you're gonna sleep with somebody else, tell me, because I don't want that. And I don't want to be sleeping with you if you're sleeping with somebody else. Or, oh, I get territorial. Excuse no, first of all, no. If I'm gonna do what I want, I don't have to answer to you, because now it's almost like having an authority, right? Oh damn, I'm talking to this other girl, but I can't have sex with her until I consult with this other. What the fuck is the difference from you being in a relationship and you being single? There is none at this point, because now you got to text her and call her. You got to come help her when she needs help. You got to consult and answer to her like your fucking probation officer if you want to hook up with another girl, right? And some girls say, "Oh, let me know if you go on another date with another girl. Let me know if you start talking." So now I have to tell you before I start talking to people, even though I'm not in a relationship. There's a few problems with that. And what are some of the problems? One, what is the difference between that and being in a relationship? Please tell me. What is the difference? There's no fucking difference. That's the problem. There's no difference. Why is there no difference? Because if we have all these rules and stipulations outside of the relationship, what the fuck is the relationship going to look like? That's one. And I'll give you a little more game about that later. And then two, it's almost like you have an authority. You are answering to somebody. Why are you answering to somebody? You shouldn't be answering to anybody if you're not in a relationship. You're not in a relationship, so you shouldn't have to answer. You shouldn't have to say, "Oh, well, you know what? Um I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna do this. Hey, I was thinking about going on a date. So let me no, you shouldn't have to do that. Because that's not what relationships. No, like what's the difference? That's not what being single is. It's not. You shouldn't have to say, well, you know what? Just because I'm single, I'm gonna let you know. No, you don't have to let anybody know. Now, the one thing that is reasonable, and I'll be honest about this, is she says, well, oh, because it's not safe. Well, all right, cool. I'm gonna let you know right now that I'm going to be having sex with other people, but I'll use condoms. If she says use condoms, okay, cool. If you're using condoms with her, use the condoms with other people, or if you're not using condoms with that person, and then you make sure you use condoms with other people. Now that is a very valid reason. That is a very, very, very valid reason. And that's something that I believe should be honored, right? Because obviously you want to have safe sex and you don't want to just be like doing anything, right? You just don't want to be moving crazy. Unless you like, you got shit on the lock, but you can't put it past anybody nowadays because some people just be out there. But and I think one of the biggest problems that guys have with this is when a girl tells you something like that, you don't want to necessarily lose out on a girl. I know a lot of young guys be like, "Oh, I don't want to miss out on my rotation. Oh, I got a rotation of girls, so I don't necessarily want to do this. I don't want to do that." But see, this is the problem. The problem comes in where now you're like bound to one person, and because this person said, well, if you do talk to other people, let me know. If you do have sex with other people, let me know. And because you have such a scarcity mindset, or you're so caught up on this one person, now you're not even being single, and you know, and that defeats the whole purpose of you being single. If you tell this person, hey, I'm single, I don't want to do this no more, I want to live a single life, I want to parade around as if I'm single, and the person says, oh, okay, well, I don't mind, just let me know if you have sex. No, I'm not letting you know nothing. If you, and that, this is where the separation comes. You need to be able to stand on your 2 feet, stand on what you're saying, stand on that shit you said, and you say, you know what, if you don't like it, then I think that maybe you should leave, or you should not talk to me, because I already want to be single, I already want to be broken up, right? But a lot of the times girls will do everything but leave. They will do everything but fucking leave, literally everything. And this is where the problem comes in. This is where the problem comes in, because it's like, well, oh, I don't want you to do this and I don't want you to do that. But because, and this is the psychology behind it. Because it's not easy, and because this is a situation that's not so easily obtained, and it's something that's just not given to them, versus, and I already tell guys, when you want a girl to be your girlfriend, never ask her to be your girlfriend, because the fact that you had to ask her, it came too easy. She didn't have to work for it. She doesn't understand, and people are not usually grateful for things that they didn't have to work for. Anything that they have to work for, they're usually grateful for. Before you jump into a relationship, a girl should be nagging you, and that's how it's always been for me. I've never just jumped into a relationship. You have to let me know you want to be in a relationship. You shouldn't be second guessing. You can want to be with somebody, unless you're just like getting an arranged marriage, which is honestly better than dealing with all this heat and this shit, right? But unless you're just like getting an arranged marriage and things are like that, but that's different. But you should never just say, hey, I want you to be my girlfriend. There should be hints. There should be, some consistency, because nowadays it's a little different. There's been times I've talked to girls and they've been texting me every day, talking to me every day, seeing me pretty often, like clockwork in the past. And next thing you know, I'll be like, so how many boyfriends you got? And I'm just joking it, saying it jokingly, not expecting her to actually have a list of guys that she's talking to. And then next thing you know, oh, I'm just talking to so and so and so. Bitch, what? Like, I'm perplexed. How many guys are you talking to? Oh no, just one. Oh, just two, but I'm only hooking up with one. So you have to be 1,000% sure, because women are very slick at this. But when you're single, you're single, right? But you have to be intuitive enough. You have to be have that level of awareness enough to know that somebody's worth wiping. And this is why the filtering mechanism is always a big thing. And by the way, guys, if you're not subscribed to Patreon, there's a sneak peek at that. I put the first few chapters of that book on there, because filtering out somebody that you're going to date or make your girlfriend or your wife is such a big process that you have to filter properly. So when it comes to that, it's such a very big thing. But the psychology behind it is, you know, women are a lot more grateful for things that didn't come so easy. If they understand that this guy's not easily obtained, this guy's not easily won over, that this guy is not easily, just given giving his love, and it's something that you actually have to earn. Not saying that you have to pursue a man. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, to actually make somebody care about you, to actually make someone interested in you, it takes more than just your looks. And I think a lot of women nowadays don't necessarily have to show any exterior value other than interior, others showing their personality, others showing that they have skills to make you love them, other than showing that they have skills to actually be in a relationship, showing that they can comply and get along with you long enough to make a relationship last. A lot of women don't necessarily, well, I'm not going to say a lot of women, that's my perspective. I think the women that are chosen more, the prettier women, don't feel as if they have to do these things. And when you show that they have to do these things, then that shows them like, man, this is something that I have to work for. And when somebody starts to invest in you and to invest in things, then they understand that, you know what, this is something that I don't want to just let go. This is something that I actually want. and I don't want to let this person flee from me because I actually like or I'm starting to love this person. So a lot of the times when you hit with this situation, well, oh, we can be single and still mess around, but I don't want you doing this. I don't listen from the jump. What needs to be established is you're not putting rules on me. Don't tell me what to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to ignore you. Of course, I'm going to text you. Of course, we're going to hang out. Of course, we can go out. But what you need to understand is that you're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to give me rules and regulations. This is not a relationship, right? But when you're in a relationship, then those boundaries can be set. When you're politicking and you're doing like your arrangements for being in a relationship, then you have those conversations. I'm not saying anything goes. Obviously, you're getting to know this person. But you can't have somebody tell you that, oh, you can't be in a you can't talk to other people, you can't have sex with other people. And it may not come out like that, but you have to be able to read between the lines, right? It may come out like, well, if you do start talking to somebody, let me know. Oh, why do I have to let you know? Because that's not something that I would like. So I would probably just leave you alone. And a lot of the time it's a game of chicken because a lot of the times they don't want to leave you alone. You already started having sex with this person. You've been hooking up with this person for weeks. You guys are going on dates. She's giving you rules and stipulations that are emulating a relationship. So more than likely, she's probably not going to stop talking to you either way. She's going to probably play a game of chicken. Some girls will. Some of these girls are ruthless vatas, right? But most likely, she's probably not going to stop talking to you. So if she says it, like, okay, well, you know what? Then I think that there's just a conflict of interest here. But the big problem is guys don't want to let it go. Guys don't want to be like, oh, you know what? All right, cool. I'll just listen to what you're saying. No, fuck that. You have to be honest on what you want. Don't if she says, well, I don't I don't want you to have sex with other people, but so if you do, just let me know. All right, well, listen, baby, that's a possibility. It could happen. I could go on a date and this bad bitch that want to take me on a date or who wants to go out with me, it could possibly happen. So you have to be good. You have to be honest about that. Good looks and go appreciate that. See the love you're giving. Um, you have to be honest about these things. So you cannot be in a situation where you think that you're just gonna lie about these things and not be honest. You have to be honest. You have to be 1,000% honest about it, and you have to give your honest opinion. The only thing that I would say really honor is if somebody says that they want to use condoms, all right, cool. Or if you're not having using condoms with them, they say make sure you use condoms with somebody else. That is the only thing that is responsible. That is the only thing that is, fair. Those things should be honored because it's reasonable and it's come on. You got to be safe yourself. Let's be real here, right? But that's the only thing that I would say when it comes to that. Make sure you honor and make sure you do that. And then, just to wrap it up, one of the biggest things is making sure that when you don't do this, like when you say that, okay, well, I'm just going to do everything you say now, there's no difference between that and a relationship. And how's somebody going to be grateful for a relationship when they say, well, oh, I'm doing all these things. Now you're in a relationship. So what the fuck is the difference? What are you going to actually be grateful for? There has to be rules and stipulations. So when they get that exclusivity for real, now they're grateful for it. Now they understand that okay, well, you know what? This person is giving me what I want and now I'm actually grateful for it. And now I have the exclusivity that I can be grateful for it and I had to work for it and it just didn't come easy overnight. So now I can be grateful for this person in a relationship. And that's one of the main things, right? And that's the game of it. Like have not playing games but having game. Like when you don't have something, you have to know the difference between having it and not having it, right? And I'm not saying that your behavior and the things that you do and the actions that you take don't have to like emulate, meaning if you're a gentleman, you're going to be a gentleman. If you're a provider, you're going to be a provider. If you're going to pay for dates, you're going to pay for dates. Your actions are still going to display. You're always going to be who you are. And I don't want that to get confused with women that say, oh, if he wants me to be a wife, he should wife me, then I'll do wife things. No, because that's a part of who you are. That's a part of your personality. If that's not your personality, then you're faking the funk. And then once you get in a relationship and they wasn't doing that shit before, they're probably not going to do it in a relationship, especially if you've been talking for months. They're faking who they are as people. So I'm not saying that fake who you are. I'm just saying that the boundaries that you want, being single, keep your boundaries and don't allow that to be, manipulated into, something that you don't actually want to do. All out of the fear that you're going to miss somebody. All out of the fear that you're going to not have a girl to hook up with. All out of the fear that you're going to lose one girl and she's not going to be your rotation anymore. Understand that there are more women out there than there are men. I don't care what anybody says. Because I remember 2 years searching it up that 2 years ago searching it up that the amount of men in the world is equal to the amount of women. But even when you look at it, that number doesn't always correlate either way because you have men that are gay, you have men that don't like women, then you have men that are incarcerated in jail, right? And then you have men with alternative lifestyles, whatever that may be, that just don't talk to women. And then I read a new study by the year 2050, and you guys can Google it. Year 2050 woman population, especially in the United States, is going to be like 50 men. I mean, 50 women to one man. So my point in mentioning that is don't compromise yourself because you don't want to, lose out on somebody. Unless you have a level of religiosity and you're practicing certain religious law, obviously you should just stick to that, right? Because that's in alignment with your morals. So I'm not saying going against that. But if that's not the case for you, don't have the scarcity mindset. Oh man, I'm gonna lose out on this one girl all because, she doesn't want me to. No, fuck that. I'm gonna do what being single requires. Like, what are we talking about here? You're not gonna make rules and stipulations for me, and you're not gonna tell me what to do. And it's simple. Because what's gonna be the difference between being here and being in a relationship? And just remember that. And this is a little things how, guys are being manipulated into relationships, into little situations. But this is podcast 222. We're gonna wrap this one up and I'll take some questions for you guys. So if you got some questions, just throw them in the box. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Where's my orange juice? I'm thirsty as fudge. Oh, I gotta wrap this up before this should die. Any questions? Scarcity mindset will be the death of young folk. Oh, so yeah, most likely. Good luck to all the love, guys. We should be getting these. Not tricked. How so? You done missed the whole thing talking about how so. I just gave a fucking 30-minute speech and you talking about how so. Yeah, man, you done came. Somebody informed this fool. Bro, you need more podcasts on self concept. No, guys are definitely getting tricked. I'll repeat this one point. When you tell a man who says he doesn't want to be in a relationship at the moment, he says, well, tell me if you have sex with somebody else because I don't want that. That's manipulation. Self concept, maybe. Well, maybe we'll get into it. I know I have some manipulation because there was a gun to their head. No, not because there was a gun to their head. No, sweetheart. I guess you weren't listening, but okay. So, is worth waiting for a girl like a long game? It shouldn't be. The most I've ever waited for a girl is a month. If I gotta wait any longer than that, I don't want the bitch. And the month goes by fast. You could just have a busy life. How do you go about getting women if you don't want a gold digger? That's easy, bro. What are you like a fucking 12-year-old? I'm gonna stop talking to young ass kids because first of all, most girls aren't gold diggers. That's first and foremost. This notion that all girls are gold diggers, and if you know you ain't got no fucking money, they ain't not looking for you no way. So that's real easy. How do I get a girl? I don't want a gold digger. What the fuck? Come on now. Or if you don't want to be used for clout or money. Yeah. Ain't the talking stage 4 months? No, talking stage can. I say the minimum, it should be 4 months, but it can be longer. And the reason for the 4 months, you got to get to know that person. People be faking the funk. Somewhere along the line, they true colors start to show, and next thing you know, you don't want to be with they ass. How long does it usually take for them to ask for a relationship? That depends. That depends on you. If you doing what you got to do, if you got game, you gaming them properly, and you done been listening to the podcast, and you've been, you know, on Patreon, and you know the techniques, they should be asking for a relationship by the end of 2 months. But it all depends, because some guys are just not worth wanting to be with. So it might take you a little longer. It might take you a little longer. Should I have to ask? Ask what? What should you have to ask? Hmm. Are we gonna end it on here? Cause y'all ain't asking no questions.